Episode 2, The Weirdo on Maple Street opens in the quiet darkness of Hawkins, where the stormy night still echoes with the disappearance of Will Byers. Mike, Lucas, and Dustin bring the mysterious girl they found in the woods back to Mike's house, unsure of who she is or why she was alone. The girl, frightened and soaked, says almost nothing, but her shaved head and haunted expression immediately convince them that something terrible must have happened to her. Mike hides her in the basement, telling his friends that his parents cannot know she is there. As the boys question her, they notice the tattoo 0111 on her arm, a clue that only deepens the mystery. The girl barely speaks, but she clearly understands what they are saying. When Mike gives her clean clothes and some food, she reacts with childlike hunger and exhaustion, as if she hasn't eaten properly in a long time. She points at the old walkie-talkie on the table, as though she recognizes it, but she cannot explain why. The boys decide to let her rest for the night, though Lucas insists that they should tell an adult. Mike convinces them otherwise, believing she might know something about Will. Meanwhile, Joyce Byers wakes from a restless night, her house still filled with the anxious silence left by her missing son. She returns to work at the general store to keep her mind occupied, but she cannot focus. Her boss assures her she can go home, but Joyce refuses, determined to stay distracted. Everything changes when the phone rings at home. Joyce answers, hearing a strange crackling noise, followed by faint breathing. For a moment, she believes it is Will calling out to her, but before she can speak, the phone bursts with static and sparks violently, the line abruptly dying. Instead of frightening her, the incident strengthens her belief that Will is trying to reach her. The next morning at school, Nancy worries about Barb, who still feels uncomfortable after seeing Nancy grow closer to Steve. Nancy tries to reassure her, but her attention is divided. She's thinking about Steve, their plans, and the new feelings she is experiencing. At the same time, Jonathan Byers skips school and takes his camera into the woods, trying desperately to find clues about his brother. His worry is growing heavier with every passing minute, and he feels increasingly alone in his search. Back at Mike's house, 11 wakes to the sound of the boys getting ready for school. Mike gives her breakfast and tries gently to learn more about her. He asks where she is from and why she was in the woods, but she says almost nothing. Mike promises her that she is safe and that no one will hurt her here. When Mike's mother suddenly walks toward the basement door, 11 panics, convinced she will be taken away. Mike stops his mother and lies, saying he's looking for a toy. The moment passes, and 11 silently realizes that Mike is protecting her. The story shifts to the Hawkins National Laboratory, where Dr. Brenner continues the search for 11. He inspects the broken electrical equipment and the scorched walls, understanding that she used her abilities to escape. The lab agents widen their perimeter and begin questioning Hawkins residents under the guise of a routine search. Their presence spreads an unsettling tension through the town. Joyce, growing more desperate, buys a new phone and rushes back home. She sits by the handset, waiting, listening, hoping that Will reach out again. The house feels heavier, shadows thickening in each corner. When the lights begin to flicker, Joyce follows them instinctively, believing they are a sign connected to her son. Later, the boys return from school and rush to the basement, eager to speak with 11. Lucas remains suspicious of her, but Mike is convinced she can help them find Will. When 11 sees the boys' photo of Will, she reacts with shock and recognition. She points to him immediately and says a single word: hiding. boys freeze, realizing she may know something crucial. Mike leads her upstairs and shows her more pictures of his family. 11 pauses at the photo of Nancy, touching it gently, as if the image triggers a distant memory. Mike explains that Nancy is his sister, and 11 repeats the word, pretty, showing she can express more than the boys initially believed. He reassures her again that she can trust him. Meanwhile, Jonathan follows the trail of missing posters and rumors to Steve's house, where a group of teenagers is hanging out by the pool. From the woods, Jonathan takes photographs, capturing random moments that reflect normal teenage life, something he desperately wishes Will could come back to. As night falls, Steve convinces Nancy and Barb to stay longer. Barb, feeling ignored, reluctantly agrees. However, when the group pushes Barb to participate in their drinking games, she becomes frustrated and embarrassed. Joyce's home becomes the center of supernatural tension when the lights flash more intensely. She speaks gently into the darkness, pleading for Will to show her a sign. In response, the lights illuminate the hallway in a rhythmic, almost intelligent pattern. Joyce follows them toward Will's room, shaken but hopeful. The room grows cold and filled with an eerie hum before a horrifying creature briefly appears through the wall, pushing against reality like a living shadow. Joyce screams and flees the house, trembling but still convinced that Will is alive somewhere close. Back at Steve's party, Nancy, trying to impress him and fit in, agrees to go upstairs with him, leaving Barb alone by the pool. Feeling abandoned, Barb sits quietly until she accidentally cuts her hand while opening a beer. As her blood drips into the water, the lights around the pool dim slightly, and a presence seems to stir in the surrounding darkness. Barb senses something is wrong, but brushes it off as nerves. Moments later, while Nancy is upstairs with Steve, Barb hears a strange, unnatural noise behind her. She stands up slowly, her breath shaking, and calls out, but no one answers. In the next instant, something unseen drags her violently from the diving board, pulling her into the cold, dark void of the Upside Down. At Mike's house, 11 tries to explain more about the monster she seems to know. She turns on the boy's walkie-talkie, raising her hand as though focusing her energy. A faint, distorted version of Will's voice echoes through the static. The boys stare in shock as she struggles, almost in pain, to hold the connection. Before they can ask more questions, the signal fades. Joyce gathers her courage and re-enters her house. Determined not to abandon her son, she hangs Christmas lights everywhere so Will can communicate more clearly. The house glows in scattered colors, an improvised beacon for her missing child. The episode ends with growing dread as more threads tie together. The lab searching for 11, Joyce receiving supernatural signs, Barb disappearing, and the boys trusting a mysterious girl who may be their only hope of saving Will. The world of Hawkins is shifting, quietly and dangerously, as something monstrous moves just beneath the surface of reality.